So I'm super excited because today I'm going to be doing the Authortube Newbie Tag. So Authortube is a fairly new community, as far as I know, on YouTube that is for writers in the YouTube community. So I'm super excited. If you don't know, I love writing, so I'm really interested to kind of dive into this new community and see what it's all about. So today I'm doing the Authortube Newbie Tag. There are 13 questions, so let's just jump right in. The first question is, how did you find out about Authortube? And I found out about Authortube through a video that Lily from Lily Mead made on her channel. She has several videos for the Authortube community. So I'll leave a link to her channel down below. I don't remember which video of hers that I watched first, but I pretty much found out about the community through her channel. Question number 2 is, what genres do you write in? And I mainly write fantasy and some paranormal. I did used to write a lot of horror in high school and middle school. I don't know, I was fascinated with horror back then, so I wrote a lot of horror, but now I mainly write fantasy and some paranormal. And maybe I'll get into horror again someday, I don't know, but for now, mainly fantasy. So question number 3 is, what is your preferred writing tense, point of view, and category of story? So for instance, children, YA, NA, adult, etc. So for me, it's going to be past tense, third person, and YA kind of, but more. I've been writing more NA recently, which is a new adult. So I've been writing characters more that are more in the college age, so late teens, early 20s. So I guess I'd be kind of new adult. I was doing young adult before, but I think I've started to do more new adult now. So question number 4 is, are you a plotter, pantser, or plantser? And for those of you who don't know, plotters, it basically just means you like to outline your story before you write it. You like to figure out the flow and the plot and the outline before you get into writing the first draft. Pantsers basically write by the seat of their pants, which is why they're pantsers. So they let the story unravel and flow as they write it. They don't really start off with an outline or notes. They just get right into writing. And planters are kind of a mix of both. So they do some outlining beforehand, but mostly they just kind of write and see where the story takes them. For me, I used to always be a pantser. Like, I could never outline or plot beforehand. I would get a story idea and I would just start writing and see where it goes, see what happens as I write. And that's how I've always been. But now I'm finding that I'm working more on being more of a plantser, which is a mix of both. So I do try to do some outlining ahead of time, just because I realized that with being a pantser, there's some stories where I have an idea of what I want to write, and I start writing, but then at some point I get stuck, and I'm like, I'm not sure where I'm going with this. I don't know where I want to go now. I don't know where I'm going to end up. And so I've started to kind of outline a little bit more in the beginning. So I don't get super detailed with it. I just have like a general overview of the story and where I want it to go, where I want to end up. And so that kind of helps with actually writing it. So I guess I'm kind of a mix now. I'm a planter. Question number 5 is, are you self-published, published, or yet to be published? And for me, I am yet to be published. My goal for 2019 is to write a book, so hopefully I will be published. But for now, I'm yet to be published. Question number 6 is, what publishing company, literary agent, and or printing company are you represented by or use? If you're not yet published, what is your dream publishing house and or literary agent? I actually haven't really looked much into, since I'm not at that phase yet, I haven't looked much into publishing houses, so I'm not entirely sure which one would be like a dream publishing house. Maybe Simon & Schuster. They have published a lot of great books, so, maybe them, but I don't know. I'd have to do more research when I get to that point to see which publishing house I want to go with. I actually eventually want to start my own publishing company someday, so who knows? Maybe I'll start my own house. I don't know. Question number 7 is, what Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? For this one, I wasn't too sure. I'll probably do more tag videos like this. I did see the Meet My MC tag video floating around, and I kind of wanted to do that one. So I'll probably do tag videos, maybe vlog videos, I'm not sure. And I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions as to what type of videos, writing related videos you want to see, let me know. I can do videos that talk about my process, my writing process, and how I like to work and do things. I don't know if I've seen a couple writing advice videos, and I'm not entirely sure how I feel about doing those, only because, one, I'm not a published author yet, and 2, I didn't major in this in school. I didn't go to school for writing or English or any literary degrees. I have a degree in counseling and psychology. So I don't know how I really feel about doing writing advice videos. So I sort of feel like, even though I've been writing since a kid, I've always written stories since a kid. Like I said, I can share my experience with that, but I don't really look at myself like, oh, I'm an expert writer, or oh, I'm you get what I'm trying to say here, right? I feel like I'm rambling on and I'm not making sense. but I hope you get what I'm saying. I don't feel like I'm like a guru or expert person that you would go to for writing, for writing advice. Now, I'd probably feel different about that once I do become published, because I feel like that kind of lends a little bit more credibility. Maybe, I don't know. Just let me know down below what types of writing videos you would be interested in seeing from me, because I'm not entirely sure about this one. Question number 8 is, when did you start writing? And I have been writing for as long as I can remember. Honestly, I can't tell you exactly what age. I just know I've always loved stories. I've always loved making up stories and telling stories. So, yeah, as long as I can remember. Question number 9 is, what was the first story you've ever wrote? And for this one, I'm not entirely sure if it's the first story I ever wrote. It's the first one I can remember writing. Like the full story that I can remember writing. And it was a ghost story about a kid whose friends dared him to go into this haunted house and like spend time in this haunted house, which he does, but of course, worst mistake he's ever made, because he was never seen from again. Question number 10 is, what authors have inspired your writing the most? So for this one, definitely have to say J.K. Rowling, because of course it's J.K. Rowling. And when I remember reading the Harry Potter books, and after I finished the Harry Potter books, I was like, I remember thinking, I want to be the next J.K. Rowling. I want to write the next Harry Potter series. So definitely J.K. Rowling. Cassandra Clare, like I said, one of my favorite authors. And the last 3 I'm going to talk about are writers, but not necessarily authors. They haven't like written any books as far as I know. As far as I know, they haven't written any books. But they are writers, and they have influenced my writing. And so the last 3 I'm going to talk about is Julie Plec, Adam Horowitz, and Edward Kitsis. And these are the writers. Julie Plec is a writer on TV shows like Vampire Diaries, the originals, and now Legacies. And Adam Horowitz and Edward Kitsis are the writers of Once Upon a Time. And I love all these shows. And even though these are TV shows and not books, it's a different medium, you can actually learn a lot still from these shows. A lot about characters and dialogue and story plot. And so anyone who tells me watching TV is a waste of time, I'm like, no it ain't. It's research. I feel like you can get a lot even from these shows. Like I said, Julie Plec, I love the characters that she creates, and that's one of the ways her writing has influenced my own, because one of my stories, basically a lot of my characters are the original family. Like, my character Hannah is basically the female version of Klaus. I love the characters she creates and their storylines and how she shapes them. And so that's influenced my writing in that way. Adam Horowitz and Edward Kitsis. I loved Once Upon a Time. I love the stories that they create with the fairy tales, and they've also influenced my writing as well, because so if you guys have watched Once Upon a Time, you know that one of the things Rumple always says is magic always comes at a cost, dearie. And so one of the things I've been exploring in one of my stories is that whole theme of there's always a price with magic, even if you're wanting to use it for good, even if you're wanting to use it to help someone. There's always unseen consequences. Magic always comes at a price. And so that's something like I've kind of been exploring with in one of my stories. And so, yeah, definitely, those writers, those shows have definitely influenced my writing as well. Question number 11 is, do you schedule your writing sessions, or do you simply get to writing whenever you have the time? And for me, I never scheduled it before, but I'm starting to try to schedule my writing sessions, because I really need to find some time that's consistent where I can do it every day. Especially that's one of my goals for 2019, is to write 5 to 6 times a week. So I really want to come up with a schedule where I can be consistent with that every day. Question number 12 is, do you type on a computer, typewriter, write everything by hand, or use a blend of these? And where do you write? I write on my laptop, which is on my desk in my office at home. And the last question, question number 13, is, what are you most looking forward to now that you're part of Authortube? And I think I'm most looking forward to talking to others about writing, and seeing what their process is, and just getting to know more people in the Authortube community. So that's it. That was the last question. That's it for this video, you guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know if any of you guys are part of the Authortube community. I would love to check out some of your videos and just see what types of videos you guys do. So let me know that in the comments below, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!